Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video, we will look into self-hatred patterns and also a little bit into generational trauma. And I want to talk a little bit about those two things because they were, for me personally, quite intertwined, and I will give you quite a few examples on how this has looked like for me and how I actually got out of it. Okay, if you are in this situation where you keep repeating things from the past, I believe most often we actually have to realize that we are not doing it to hurt ourselves over and over again. We are just kind of wired to do things a certain way. And because of that, we kind of feel trapped. We feel this is just how it is, and we find it hard to get out of it. But let me give you a few examples and a few things that may help you to gain a new understanding on this topic. Okay, my name is Patricia. I'm a life coach, and if you're new on this channel, then don't forget to subscribe. If you're new, say hi in the comment section. It's so cool to see so many new faces and people around, and share how the videos that you are looking at have actually impacted you. The reason really why is that this helps not only me to create a better content for you, but also it helps you to see that we are in this boat together. And the more we are who raise our awareness towards, hey, what is actually really going on? Oh, you feel the same, you feel the same. Maybe this is a bigger thing than actually just me, and it helps extremely to understand that we are in this boat together. You're not alone, yet it is on each and every one of us to do this inner work. Okay, so let's start into this video. Before I forget, it's my coffee time. So grab your coffee. It's my break. I use my break with you. Get a coffee, get ready, and or a tea. And I want you to remember, when have you really thought about yourself from the highest possible you can imagine? I mean, with so much love that you will probably explode. Can you remember that? You see, when we are starting our self-talk, and our self-talk is very, very low, most of the time we don't even realize we are doing that. And I think most of the time it's also because we have lived in a society where it's normal to feel crap. It's normal to work very long. It's normal that everyone has a mental illness. It's normal that that you are stressed, that you are having anxiety. These things have been normalized. And if you cannot do it anymore, you even punish yourself more because you feel like you're failing this big system that everyone is telling you to stay in, right? And we have to understand that there is so much more going on, and it's not only about what you feel, but what we feel as a collective, right? There are so many people, so many clients who share similar stories. How is this possible if we all have experienced a different childhood, a different past, a different upbringing? Some of them were rich in the beginning, some of them had nothing, some of them rised up in between. But what I really want to tell you is that there is this theme of self-hatred patterns that I see with most of my clients, because they try to be someone they're not. And they make themselves feel so miserable because they cannot complete or fulfill that kind of need they feel from outside to fit in some kind of box, right? Now, how often do you hear like, think outside of the box? And then once you think outside of the box, it's not really well seen at all, right? People around, they're like, yeah, innovation and all of that. And as soon as you bring it up, it's like, we go back to the old. Nothing changed, It's because many people, they think they can actually make a change in the shift, but on the long run they fall back, and then they start to compromise again. They start to feed into those old beliefs, and they make their communication even harder because they cannot do it themselves. And so what they're doing is, someone who is already like in this very negative talk, they will also do this for other people, because this is what they know. This is how they have been in this world, right? And so for them, it's really hard. They cannot treat you differently. And I think it's for you to see as well that if you are around many people who are like this, then you gotta question yourself, why is that? And what does this actually reflect back on me? Okay? So if you have a lot of people who are very judgmental, very limited in a sense, like new ideas, I don't know, new kind of relationships, and they don't want to hear anything of that, right? They're not ready to understand that maybe your spiritual practice became very important for you, or you changed your career, and your career might be something that, I don't know, is totally outside of the box from them, and they start to really judge you for what you're doing. You gotta look at, do you judge yourself too? And how is your negative talk? So most people starting to see, okay, I actually always felt not good enough for who I am. And because of that, I was kind of punishing me. And I was making myself feeling bad. Do you see how much you can influence how you feel? But this is not who you are, okay? Your essence is not how you feel and think. Your essence is so much more than that. Your essence, your soul, never told you to hate yourself, never told you to feel crap. This is the attachments we have to certain beliefs, to certain things, and we identify ourselves with certain belief systems that we think is right, and we want to fit into certain things, and we end up making ourselves feeling very miserable, not realizing that this has nothing to do with who we are. This is why it's so crucial to get back to who you are, because only then you can be truly free and you can be truly happy. So what you're going to do is you're grabbing your notebook every single time I come here. I have another notebook. I have around like 5 or so for different purposes. But, I think writing is very important because you are kind of anchoring from what you're thinking into this one. And while writing, sometimes when you're going back and you see like, oh, I had this in mind for like 1 or 2 years before I actually start to execute, like an important goal, or maybe some thoughts about the day and how it went, and how, you are just putting it down and you are inserting it into the papers. So then later on, you can go back and actually read how you felt. It helped me extremely to reflect on my own childhood, on seeing the next thing we are going to talk about is the generational trauma. And this one helped me extremely to see, like, wow, you have really, really felt miserable. Sometimes when you start to elevate your vibration, your energy, and you're like, was it really that bad? You start to question. And so I think that remembering how you have felt is so crucial, because you cannot get rid of it. You can transform. You cannot get rid of it. This is the thing that most people are making wrong. They think that, or even, let's say you have a partner, okay? And you break up, and this partner was very important for you, and maybe still is, okay? And you think the thing you have to do right now is you need to get rid of it, rid of him, her, whatever. And this whole thing of either way, like black and white, I need to do this, I need to do that. Why don't you find a more peaceful and loving way in order to move on? If you find this is peaceful and just chuck out parts of your life, how it has been, you don't see that those parts actually elevated you to the person you are right now. Maybe you are the person right now who is like, I don't want to be here. Really, this life, I cannot say it different, sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. Really, I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm done. And I hear you, I understand you, but most of those things actually had to happen until you get to the point where you're now, so that you can actually start to really, really gain that strength and gain that anger you need for your next steps. The anger sometimes is very, very helpful, because it helps you to make a step and to get your power back. This is the most crucial thing. You actually left your power and you gave it to someone else. If you have brought up like me, I have given away my power to everyone else, believing everyone else knows better than me. Of course, I've been told that this is the way how it is, but I believed it, I lived it, I added up to it. You know what I mean? You have to raise the question why you're there. And if you start to see that you're not the victim in this whole thing, you need to start to see that you had control. And you gave your power away to a very, very high extent. If you have been close to what I have gone through, or what many people have gone through, you gave your power away, basically for free. And this is not to say to blame you, this is not here to judge you, this is here to tell you that it had to come so far so that you can gain all your faith, all your courage to actually move on. You know how long it took me to understand this part? Because I was kind of like, those ones are the ones. They did that. All of them. They did that. I haven't done anything. Until I realized I was doing my part very much. And I needed that. I needed that to wake up, to bring my consciousness alive, so that I can actually start to live the life I want. Because if I wouldn't have had this hardship, I would not stand here. I would not be on this camera. I would not have this life. And the truth is, I want this life. This here, what I have created here, this is mine. I did that. You see? And I wanted it exactly this way. And so this is what I'm trying to tell you, that you are creating, you are co-creating. This is why it's so crucial that you are aware of your thoughts, of your emotions, because it's the first thing that actually leads you eventually to actions. And see, if you start to do things that are maybe not so in your favor, maybe you catch yourself there where you're doing things out of an emotion, out of a and you're, I don't know, I mean, the worst thing I was doing was like writing texts. I was getting better in the middle of my 20s, but when I was writing texts to people and saying things and blaming and whatsoever, and never really thought through. So you have to start to learn to think through. You have to start to do things that are in your favor, because those acts will actually go back into your self-love. You will start to love yourself again, because you are actually looking after yourself. You're treating yourself as you would be, or you are, the best you can be. And that deserves the best support from yourself, I think we drifted a little bit off here. Is there anything else to add at this moment? I think no. Let's see. So let's go to the generational trauma. The generational trauma is something that we all have in common. It's a trauma where we keep doing things the way how our grandparents, our father or our mother, people before us basically, and also this is also said collectively, because we are in a society and we learn also together. So if there has been an imprint of certain things, of certain beliefs, and you have been in a group, in a place where this has been a belief for a certain amount, there's pretty a high possibility that you may believe the same. And this isn't about to say that this is right or wrong. This is about to bring awareness into your field, right? Because your awareness eventually is going to help you change. And so generational trauma can be things that we have done that were really painful but very much necessary at that time. So we have maybe believed certain things about you need to work hard to earn your money, and you need to do certain things that today we would say like, and that was really what you believed? Like, yeah, because this was how it has been in the wartime. You had to do certain things, and you had to work a certain way, and it wasn't really about, hey, let's be who you are from deep within. This is the time now. Times change. This is the time now. This is why so many people start with self-development, spirituality, looking into career they want to change, changing their relationship because they see that they don't want a family, while this has been a tradition for I don't know how many years, and they start to question everything. They start to question religion. I don't know. They start to question a lot of things because it's not anymore about survival. Now, obviously, in certain parts in this world, it is. And that's very, very painful to watch, right? So that we are repeating patterns that we have been doing for years and years, and we are still doing them. But it's also a waking up kind of call where we see, okay, what is it that is inside of us who is still going like this? What you see there is a lot of things going on, but a lot of things are from the past. It's not new generated. It's not something fresh, right? And so I'm not really going into detail of that kind of part, because I find there are many more people who are actually experienced and can actually, go deeper into that zone. But what I want to say is that we also have those kind of war zones within us, and where we are basically going against each other, but from inside. It's like we are fighting against, and we are not really about, hey, you may be different, or okay, I have this idea, I have this thought, but instead of being able to talk about this thought, I will immediately judge it. I will immediately say something bad. And one of the best examples I have here right now is about, let's say you're gay, and you grew up in a family where this hasn't been accepted, and you start to judge yourself on so many levels, and you start to hate yourself for who you are, and you feel so ashamed and so much guilt, and you can all feel that. I mean, this is a belief that something is wrong with you from the past. It's a generational trauma where we have been doing things to ourselves that isn't really loving, that isn't really caring, that isn't really in a good way, right? And so we have to look into those fields and see and acknowledge that what the past generations have done, this was great. They had to do certain things for us to survive. And we have been acknowledged for, or we should acknowledge for how far they have come in their consciousness. But now we have to realize that there are certain things that we need to make a change, we need to make a shift. And if we want to be happy, if we want to start a life that is actually starting to be more intuitive, more centered, more balanced, more joy, more love, okay? And I'm not talking about unicorns and woo, and life is great and we will never cry anymore, and we are not talking about that. We are talking about that self-expression and being who you are in a most compassionate way, in a centered way, in a balanced way. If we all start to continue doing this, we start to inspire other people to also be themselves. And because of that, we start to create more freedom, more peace on this world, because we are not hiding anymore. We are not trying to pretend anymore. This mask, this being someone we are not, is making us sick. We have to stop that pattern. We have to stop thinking that who we are is not okay. We have to stop and we have to acknowledge who we are, and stop thinking and going into ways where something is wrong. Something is not wrong with you. You're not wrong. You may have a belief that you feel ashamed of. Maybe there is something that you feel totally awkward and you don't really know how to deal with it. But learn to sit with that discomfort. Learn to sit with, why do I feel so bad about this? There are so many people who don't even know what they're doing good, really good, and they cannot even say proudly of what they're good at. And this is crazy. How is it possible that we feel ashamed when we are doing something really good? And obviously, according good to what, right? But if we are proud of something because we achieved something, because we have, I don't know, we have been dealing with certain things, why can't we proudly say that we did this or that and that we are proud of this? Because it hasn't been normal. Most of the times and things that we are doing is not something that we find is normal. You see? And if you don't see things as normal, you may just reject. Because humans don't just accept something new, we will always reject first. And that is nothing really bad. This is actually coming from a survival point of view. We don't want to try out new things because we find, what if something is happening? And this is not a conscious decision, this is subconscious, right? And so we gotta be aware of those kind of things where we want to make a shift and start to see, how do we feel about certain things. It's a very good indicator. If we feel anxious or angry or frustrated or anything like in that sector, rage is a good one. If we find anything in that sector, we have to see things as what they are and start to integrate and start to accept them, because we cannot get rid of it. This doesn't work in this world. You cannot get rid of your past. You cannot get rid of a thought. You're transforming it, but you can't get rid of it. It's impossible. It's not that you are this or that. It's your all. And that's why when people tell me, I just have to get this person out of my mind or this or that. No, you have to change the relationship from here and here. If you get it rid, you will focus on it even more. Your focus will be like this. It's not working. So get this and write it down. Write down how you feel, how this made you feel. And meanwhile, I see that we are talking really long today. Tell me in the comment section, is this actually something that you have been aware? Are you aware of the generational trauma that you are holding as well? Are you aware of that? And if so, in what way? I also want to know, like, when you're really looking deep into your thinking patterns and when you start to feel about yourself, how do you feel? Is it rather negative? Is it meh? How is it? And start to actually write this down. You can even use the comment section for this one. You know, sometimes people are getting really scared. They write that down and then they're kind of shocked that this is actually what they believe from themselves. And they're very, very shocked because they see, oh wow, if I even believe that, how can I expect that someone else is seeing me differently, you know? You have to learn to see yourself in another light. And that's why you have to do the work. You have to do the internal work. And if this is something you want to work on with me, with a coach, then have a look into the description box. There you find more information. It is really about opening up your shell and getting inside and seeing, who are you, where do you stand? And this is actually something that you apply in business, in private. This is something that helps you in every area of your life, because the more you're connected to yourself, the more you do what you love. The more you have relationships that you love, that you enjoy, that you like. And you're not anymore into places where you don't want to be. You learn to communicate on such a different level. So make a change, make a shift. And do yourself a favor. Look at things that make you happy. And I don't mean the short run. I don't mean go shopping. I mean do something that is holding on to for a while. Do something which you can do with pretty much nothing. You don't need a credit card. You don't need to buy any material. You don't need to buy crystals, okay? You don't need to buy any, I don't know, other supplements whatsoever. Do something that you can do on a daily basis where only you is required, your time is required, because that will actually help you to gain more strength and more confidence in who you are. All right. With this, I'm saying goodbye. Thank you so much if you have actually watched until the very, very end. Thank you so, so much. I really feel honored. And I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I see you on another time. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.